Good evening. It's the Beast of These podcast here on the Believe Podcast Network and the Y'all's Conference Network, coming at you on the video live here on a Monday night right after New Year's. The first show of 2022 here for us, guys. How you doing? Vinny Hardy and Israel Troop join me. What's up, guys?
What's up, fellas? How y'all doing? I'm doing
What's
good.
going on, man?
Just living the dream. Hey, Israel, I want to make you jealous here for a second. Okay, we got this this white stuff that's fallen from the sky. It's here.
Y'all can have it. Y'all can have it. Cold weather with you. I woke up this morning. Somebody turned air conditioner outside, and it is booming right now.
Okay, all right, there you go. Yeah,
we went from 87 to 40.
Look at you.
Okay.
Yep, we went from tornadoes to snow in a matter of 2 days. So
it's like the 2010 snowpocalypse all over again in Georgia right now.
It was 70 and then it was snowing, so it was crazy up here.
That sounds awful. Yeah, that's terrible.
Yes, it's okay. I've grown accustomed to it. So our chat, as you see, is live and rocking and rolling. It says we need an associate producer. I'm sure John will be on here in a little bit. Tell us about LSU, even though we are beasts of the East. So the bowl season. I mean, speaking of LSU, they're the ones that are going to wrap this thing up for the majority of us, and then we'll talk about the rematch here in a minute. But Vinny, your Wildcats, man, they Wan'Dale Robinson put the team on his back there at the end and led them to a game-winning drive to beat Iowa. How did you feel about that bowl game?
Man, it's typical Kentucky, man. It's they're used to playing close games. It ended up being a close game. Had chances to get 7, settle for 3, and you could feel Iowa coming back because Kentucky kind of left the door open. And you had offensive line guys out of position. Darrell Rosenthal didn't play. Kenneth Horsey is the guard. He's shifting out to tackle. The line had a lot of issues, gave up a lot of sacks. They struggled like we hadn't seen them struggle in a while. Defensive guys, a lot of guys out with injuries and COVID protocols. So they were kind of sucking wind in the second half, but it was like gut check. They sucked it up, got some stops when they needed to. Wan'Dale took over some huge third down conversions before the big catch that put him down to the goal line. C-Rod ran tough, had a receiving touchdown, and then the game clinching touchdown. It was just a whole suck it up gut check moment and they came through at the end, man. And got another clutch Citrus Bowl 10-win season, so gotta love it.
That's 2 for old Mark Stoops, huh?
That is.
I love it, man. I love when Kentucky plays really well because it kind of blows that narrative right out of the water of the East sucks, So that was the second best team in the Big Ten that they beat, and there you go.
It feels good to be, for us, the basketball school, to be in here trying to keep working our way up here with y'all, with the Georgias, with where Florida typically is. Getting that respect when it comes to football, when you're in here winning 10 games and showing that you're trying to kind of belong, it feels good to kind of hear Kentucky continuing to constantly, more consistently become part of this kind of conversation.
Most definitely. And I tweeted something the other day, which holds true. I know there's a lot of controversy of opt-outs and things like that, but you watch the Kentucky game, and those guys look like they didn't shut it down. You said, you had guys out with injuries, COVID protocols, and you can tell it meant something. Anytime those guys are playing in bowl games, it means something. So they could have just shut it down and said, it's Iowa, we'll just lay down, but they didn't. They went out with a bang. Game clinching interception at the end. I mean, it meant something to them. And bowl season is far from over.
And DeAndre Square was ruled out. He was hurt when he's supposed to be back in, and went back in and made that play. There were some other linebackers that weren't playing. He went back in. About culture, Israel. We talk about this is the second Citrus Bowl win in 4 years. Josh Allen and Benny Snell and those guys, the first time around, kind of set the tone. They didn't opt out. Lynn Bowden didn't opt out. A lot of these guys that went to the league played in the bowl games, and it's just kind of trickled on down from there. So that whole culture thing.
It's part of the culture there at Kentucky, man. They don't run away from it. They enjoy playing the bowl games. They enjoy being around each other, apparently. So that's good to see. A couple things from the chat. Dylan Gabriel is heading to OU. Caleb Williams is hopping on in that portal. Israel, I'm hearing some news that Georgia might be a player in this one.
I heard that too.
Keep
and
an eye
then
on
it makes you wonder the narrative of everybody's JT, JT, JT. Well, Stetson's leaving. And it's supposed to be, if JT doesn't leave, it's supposed to be JT's team. Now you bring Caleb Williams into it. Now what happens?
Caleb Williams becomes the guy. They just
now are people
they
still
just say
on that
JT.
JT train, or they're going Caleb Williams now? Now you just put your foot in your mouth, people. Be careful what you wish for.
Mm-hmm. JT gonna get Joey Gatewooded because Joey left Auburn, came to Kentucky. Levis comes in, and so Joey goes down to follow Gus. It sounds like that could happen with JT.
Yep. He'll be at Georgia Southern next year. Following old Clay Hilton. So that'll be interesting. What's interesting to me about it is that there was a quarterback battle there in recruiting with Caleb Williams and Brock Vandegrift, and it came down to Oklahoma and Georgia was going to be the landing spot for those two guys. It was just a matter of which one went to OU and which one went to Georgia. It ultimately ended up Caleb going to OU, Brock going to Georgia. Now they both might end up at Georgia. Who knows? But if I had to put my money on it, I would say he's going to go to USC and follow Lincoln Riley. If I was a betting man.
I think so too. I think it's more so leaning that way. You wouldn't just enter the portal out of nowhere after such a great bowl game that you played in Alamo Bowl, threw for almost 400 yards, or if he even did make 400 yards. New head coach coming in, great offensive mind coming in as well. Just seems kind of sketchy that he's thinking about leaving.
Yeah, why not just stay? I mean, he's in a great situation. I mean,
yeah,
I think honestly, I think the more I think about it, I think Britton Venables is going to do a tremendous job there. So, why?
And we all know he's a defensive-minded guy, so the offense is pretty much going to be wide open, kind of like with Monkey at Georgia. So,
there you go.
I mean, I think he's better than Dylan Gabriel, in my opinion, right now. So,
yeah, definitely, definitely. So
is Brent going to be Gary Patterson-esque with better talent? Defensive guy in that conference. Is he gonna kind of take that route?
He's more progressive, I think, than Gary Patterson because he's seen the formula at Clemson. I think he's going to have that a little better version of that. Yes, for sure.
And with better players, probably.
With better players, yeah, because I think he does. I think he recruits. So there you go. Zack Evans potentially at Ole Miss. Not to turn this into the transfer portal show. That'll be huge. I mean, he's a 5-star kid. He was going to sign at Georgia. Things didn't quite work out for him, but that's Israel we're talking about before you got cut by the Boomer Sooner Mafia. Gotcha. Zack Evans is going to Ole Miss. Does that name sound familiar?
The name sounds real familiar.
He was going to sign at Georgia. He had the papers faxed, and Kirby said no at the last minute.
Oh, yeah. Remember
that?
I remember.
He had some stuff that surfaced about him.
Some questionable character issues.
That surfaced. I'm sure he has since put those in the rear view. But he'll be a great fit at Ole Miss, honestly, talent-wise. If he's one of those guys that's for real as far as off the field stuff, I think he'll be great.
I'm all for second chances for guys. We've all been there. We've all been in college and high school and things like that. We've all done something stupid. So, I mean, to handcuff a kid, let him do his time, give him a second chance. If you mess up second time, then hey, that's on you.
That's on you. Or a third or fourth time like Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
getting naked during the game.
Goodness gracious.
What's up with that?
Um,
Israel, you said handcuffs, and it got our Russian bots all excited. So be careful with that.
Oh boy, here we go.
So, well, he
got them
definitely
triggered.
got him going, man.
Here we go.
Antonio Brown definitely opted out mid game too. There's some
Mhm.
memes of like this user has left the chat or some all those PlayStation and Xbox memes. Those are pretty funny.
Yeah.
So so bowl games since we last left you. Let's get back into that real quick. South Carolina, they won.
Hmm.
The SEC.
Putting the wide receiver at quarterback. What a game plan. I mean, kudos to the offensive staff on that one. I mean, you're missing a quarterback and you take one of your receivers and put him at quarterback and don't skip a beat. Actually do better than you did during the season.
I mean, it's ridiculous, man. Like they channeled their inner Kentucky on that one.
Yeah,
Yes.
Lynn
The whole
Bowden.
entire staff needs a raise. Needs a raise for sure.
They definitely do, and I think they need to start a tradition down there, Vinny, of every time they win, Shane Beamer gets doused with Duke's mayo.
And gets a couple vertebrae cracked with the jar.
Yes.
He totally got beamed in the head with the cooler first. It was bad.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh,
I
God.
thought that thing would be, a surprise like the Gatorade. I ain't know it was gonna be staged where you got to go sit down and know it's coming, and like here we're gonna dump mayo on you now. I'd rather, try to sneak me with some mayo. I don't want to just go plan to sit down and get dumped with mayo.
Yeah, that's not good for anybody. And then it's planned, and you still get whacked with the cooler. That's, I mean,
Yeah.
who the hell signs up for that, man?
You're trying to
Somebody
act
was
happy.
not prepared for the weight of the cooler.
Guarantee he's not going back to that bowl game.
If that ain't motivation to
He
go
did have
better
one of
than
the
7-5, yeah, you got to go 8-4
He
and
did
better.
have one of the best tweet outs though to the Dodd guy, the burn tweet back. How
Yes.
miserable do you have to be mad at somebody else for getting hit with mayo to talk trash to somebody?
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was a great tweet. That was a tweet of the year, in my opinion. That was it.
It was one of them. It was one of them for sure. Tweet of the year. I don't know. There's a lot of good candidates. Steve had some tweets of the year. Israel, you had some battles too.
I had some good ones last week, man. I'll put those. I got to screenshot those and put them in my Hall of Fame, man.
Your Stetson ones were legendary. But yeah, since we last left you, Tennessee got completely screwed.
Yes, they did.
Yeah,
I hate the inadvertent whistle call.
Yeah.
Well, the early whistle call. I think that's. Can I say BS on this and be okay? Because that was an awful call. Awful call. His momentum's still going, but you blow the whistle because you think his momentum stopped. It's not what you think. I think it's the play that's going on. But I think it's BS that you can't challenge that either, because they had a challenge in their pocket they could have used.
Yeah, they should have challenged it. I guess they can't review it and then challenge it on top of the review. I don't know, but
You can't. But they say you can't challenge a whistle. Like if the whistle stops the play, you can't challenge it.
Yeah, that's baloney.
uh-huh.
That's a whole bunch of Duke's mayo. So yeah, they got screwed, but then again, they screwed themselves too, and they left it in the hands of the referees. With the whole tackling optional fourth quarter.
Yep, they got coached 30.
They definitely got coached 30.
It was up 21-7 in the first quarter and gave it all back by halftime. So they could have put it out of reach way before that.
Purdue, but that's not a bad team they were playing. Purdue's they've been knocking off people left and right. So
Purdue thought they were ranked number 2, so they played hard.
Mm-hmm. They beat Iowa.
You can't tell me those bowl games didn't mean something to them. They played hard the whole game. Both teams did the whole game.
Well, both teams hadn't been there in a while, so
yeah.
And while we're on the subject, like you hear all this stuff being slung around about opt-outs and meaningless bowls, things like that. The bowls themselves aren't meaningless.
No.
I think that kind of gets confused into what we mean by that. And I know I've used the word meaningless before, But when people start opting out, it definitely gives that illusion of, hey, this thing's meaningless, and why are we playing at this point if everybody's just going to opt out, or if a whole team is going to opt out like Texas A&M did. So, you know, I think college football needs to find a way to either curb that, maybe cut the list of bowls down from like 42 to 32, expand the playoff field to make things more exciting. And we can get into a debate about that as well, as far as what the best scenario is for a playoff. I mean, a lot of people are saying the 14 playoff is just fine, but I think you add more parity, and I think more teams kind of get in the mix each and every year with a 12-team playoff. It's not going to be Bama running away with it every single year in a 12-team playoff, because a team like Utah, had they played against Bama, we might not be Georgia might be playing Utah for the national championship. Those type of things happen. Like, teams get hot at the right moment. Like Ohio State, Utah, they could have either of them could have beat the hell out of Bama. They could have beat the hell out of us or Michigan or anybody. You get a team like Baylor who comes in. They play. These are all aside from Ohio State, these are all conference champions. Utah, Pac-12 champion. Baylor, Big 12 champion. Then you got Michigan, Big 10 champion. Alabama, SEC champ, and then you throw a team like Pitt in there. If Kenny Pickett doesn't opt out, what do they bring to the table? Like, that's very.
It's a lot. There's a lot of things you can look at, but I mean, I look at the players who do opt out.
Mm-hmm.
Those are guys who have graded first, second round guys who are actually going to train the NFL. They've probably already hired an agent, so they can't play collegiate ball anyway for the bowl game. So I mean, there's no point in even being upset about that. So I'm not even gonna lie. If I'm a first round, second round guy, and I'm playing in a bowl game like the Duke's Mayo Bowl, to say for example, I'm probably not gonna play in that game. Yes, I'm gonna play in it just because I'm a competitor. That's what I'm gonna do. But from a guy who's looking at his future, and his main goal is to go to NFL, then I see no problem with it. It's his future that he's looking after. It's not like he's letting down his teammates. His teammates understand. Half his teammates probably do the same thing if they're in that same position. A human, as in you and I, would do the same thing if we had that option. Anybody who says, why do kids opt out and things like that would jump at the chance to do it if they had the opportunity to go first round and made millions of dollars. They would do it. So they can keep all that noise to themselves. You ready to tell me you're going to be a first round pick, you're going to play in a bowl game and get hurt? Come on now.
And like Herb Street and Dez got on that rant, and with this, guys today don't care like we did, and all that kind of stuff. And
Dez, you left early because you won the Heisman and bounced. You get him the deuces and left.
It sounds like get off my lawn kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe their players today are different from that era for sure. But they act like everybody they play with care like they do, and that could not be the case. There were some guys back then that didn't care either. I mean, they're not seeing that now, but it's not such a drastic difference like they want to say.
Deal.
There was dudes back then that didn't care too, or didn't bring it like they should have, just like today.
You drop the 94 Citrus Bowl, and you drop a first round grade and give Kajana Carter the option to opt out. He's going. It wasn't an option back then. Like it wasn't.
Yeah.
That wasn't a thing. Like you think Michael Jordan would have gone to UNC had jumping straight from high school to the pros had been a thing? I don't know, probably not. But it wasn't a thing at that point. So like it's like apples and oranges to compare the two eras. But I mean, it just is what it is right now. Opt-outs have made our bowls a little bit more irrelevant. Not totally irrelevant, but a little more irrelevant, which is why they should cut the number down, not cut them all the way out. Cut them down, reward the teams that have good records and that want to play in these games, have them play in these games, feature your younger guys. And then for the 12 teams that deserve a shot at the playoff, you just drop them in the playoff and say, hey, let's roll. You get your conference champions, and you get a bunch of at-large bids like Georgia and Ohio State, and Ole Miss would have been in the field. I think Oklahoma State would have been in the field. They would have done some damage. You have a team like Wake Forest who could have been a fringe participant in that whole thing. Coastal Carolina BYU may have had a chance. Some G5 programs. So you never know what could have happened in that playoff. And I know I probably left off a slew of teams, but I think you can make the bowl season more fun if you cut out the 12 bowls before Christmas that nobody's really paying attention to. Start at the Monday after Christmas with your Capital One Bowl week and just have a bonanza of bowl games that whole week leading up to leading up to your current format. So I don't know.
Yeah.
That's just my thoughts.
Yeah, I think I just don't see how you can tell a 19, 20, 21-year-old kid that he has to play in this bowl game when he knows he's about to be first round draft pick. Like he's going to be a first round draft pick.
And
how selfish are you? I saw a tweet today. Speaking of that, I saw a tweet today that said, I pay my tickets to go see the best players play. Well, are you going to see the university, or are you just going to go see that one specific player play? Because there's 10 other people on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Or, what's the argument here? So are you rooting for the university or just that one player? Do you keep up with that player when he leaves your university? Do you check in? Do you send him a sandwich, every once in a while? Give him a fruitcake on Christmas, things like that. Like what are we really upset about here? How dare that kid just look out for himself and his future? How dare he?
How dare he?
Just so you can go to a game and watch him for 60 minutes. How dare he?
Exactly. And just to be fair, I don't love that the kids opt out. I'd rather see them play one last game, but I understand it. Like,
yeah, it's all about understanding.
Like, I would have loved to have seen Kenny Pickett versus Kenneth Walker play in that Peach Bowl.
Yes.
I would have loved to see that. And I'll be honest, I didn't watch the game because of that. Yeah, Notre Dame would have been hell on wheels too. I didn't watch that game because those two weren't playing, honestly. But it is what it is. Kenneth Walker is going to be a top round guy. He's going to be a great running back in the NFL, and next year nobody will remember that he didn't play in a bowl game.
Yeah,
nobody will care.
Yeah.
It's not
going to talks about the guys that opted out.
Not going to affect his draft grade.
Yeah, you got the Jake Butt situation at Michigan. That's kind of that dude. His career went totally different because he got hurt in the bowl game, and it's just you got to weigh it. Everybody's going to weigh the pros and cons and do what's best for them because they've put themselves in the position to be able to weigh the pros and cons and see what they.
There you go, Vinny.
Boom.
There you go,
Boom.
and that is the point right there. So you're going to go to a job that pays you $50,000 a year, and you get offered $1 million to do the same job. You're not going to leave and take it. It's the same thing, same difference.
Yeah,
coaches do it all the time.
Yeah.
So until you curb it with coaches, you can't really curb it with players. It is what it is. It's going to happen. But there's my solution right there. Right there's my solution. But how about that college football playoff? Bama Cincy was interesting for a little while.
I loved it.
I thought the offensive game plan. I thought the offensive game plan could have been better for Cincy. I thought they could have used Desmond Ridder a little bit better. I think you're seeing a trend here with teams that play Bama. They play conservatively, like they play like Desmond Ridder was JT Daniels, like a pocket guy.
Yes.
I don't get it.
They look like us in the SC championship game. They handcuffed themselves. And like I said, I was telling a buddy of mine, I said they outcoached themselves. It was a whole lot of what if, and Alabama didn't do the if, and they just handcuffed themselves. They had like 15 batted balls. I mean, they didn't roll them out the pocket or anything.
They didn't
try
put
to
them in the run game. Like they obviously didn't watch the previous year against Georgia where Desmond Ridder was just running left and right, moving the pocket, just cutting us up, carving us up. And once we finally woke up, we finally started defending it. But like they could have done that and really put some pressure on Alabama and really kind of see what they had. But defensively, I thought the game plan was awesome.
Yes.
They
did a good job.
They played man.
17-3 at halftime.
Yeah, I mean,
to hold them to 17 points, a Cincy team who's supposed to be demolished held Alabama to 17 points and harassed Bryce all night.
Mm-hmm. They had him outside of one drive. I mean, Bryce was completely ineffective.
Mm-hmm. That was the first drive of the game.
Mm-hmm. And then the drive that had him that put 17 on the board, that was a good drive for Bryce. Made a couple great throws in that one, a couple
Yeah.
great shots, but
Is
for the
that the
most part,
exact same play on the touchdown, or that they scored both of those? Right to the tight end was the exact same play.
I think so.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The whip right underneath had him at
Mhm.
number one. That was a good play. Really good play.
Yep. Man, and they got him. So, but hats off to Cincy, man. I thought they gave them everything that they had. They wasted nothing.
Yep. And
I
And
mean,
I saw people on Twitter talking about this bowl game was boring. I said, you do realize that they held Alabama to 27 points. And I was like, who else you gonna put in there? Oklahoma State, who was getting mollywopped by Notre Dame, and luckily came back and won. You're gonna put Notre Dame, who was mollywopping Oklahoma State, but then ended up losing. You're gonna put Ohio State in there, who gave up an astronomical amount of yards to Utah, and vice versa with Utah.
yeah,
Who you gonna put in there? Who are you gonna put in there?
I mean,
We
Notre
saw what he
Dame,
did to Michigan.
Cincy beat Notre Dame, so that would have been kind of
yeah, and Notre Dame's track record
with a better
in
record.
these games, they wish
Good.
they could represent themselves the way Cincinnati had. They've come to these playoff games and gotten blasted every time they get there. They should be taking notes on what Cincinnati did as far as staying in a game for the duration of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And Cincinnati had brief moments where they played Desmond Ritter like he was Desmond Ritter, and they
He
moved
gets
the
settled.
ball. Unfortunately, they didn't put one in the end zone, but they moved it. They moved it around. They got 6 points out of it, and which was 6 more points than anyone ever thought they would have gotten.
Yep.
And so you look at a David versus Goliath type situation that was a G5 undefeated G5 team that they beat Notre Dame, and they really didn't beat anybody else of note. Maybe Houston, who just beat Auburn, but aside from that, what did Cincinnati really accomplish? They went undefeated. They beat Notre Dame. They were a damn good football team, but they had never been tested against a team of the caliber that Alabama was until that game. And they came in and they proved that, hey, we're going to be well coached. We're not going to make many mistakes. That was a strength and conditioning. That was a Bama has better players than Cincinnati game. That was if that would have been equal talent, Cincinnati would have won that.
Yes, I believe so. The spread was 26.5 at one point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for them to come out and do the things they did against Alabama, that just shows you what Luke Fickell's doing. And after that game, I'm pretty sure he's going to get a lot more recruits just after that ball game. That showing just put them on the map.
And the fact that since he's going to be P5, I think year after next, maybe they're going to be in the Big 12. That'll be fun. Cincinnati versus Baylor in the Big 12.
Mm-hmm. That's going to be a good one.
Look out, man. So yeah, I mean, I think Bama had to. Bama was cruising into that game thinking, hey, we'll cruise in the second half. We'll rest our guys and get ready for either Georgia or Michigan, which realistically everybody thought it was going to be Georgia, and that held true as well. But they walked into that game going, we're going to cruise at halftime. Next thing you know, it's middle of the fourth quarter, and their starters are still in, and they're huffing and puffing, and I guarantee you they left Friday night just completely beat up.
Definitely. I can't wait. I can't wait for Monday.
Rematch.
Can't wait to see it.
Rematch. So my tweet auto-corrected. This might be tweet of the year. It auto-corrected. Well, I retweeted Jamari Sawyer just abusing Aiden Hutchinson. And instead of Aiden, it auto-corrected. You see where this is going, right?
Yeah.
Asian Hutchinson.
You got to delete that and start over.
Yikes.
I know, right?
That's like mine that said set the time. I was like, I just went back and read it, and I was like, oh crap.
Yeah.
Set the tone.
700 people have already seen it. So.
Yeah. Oops. Sorry, guys.
And to be honest with you, I don't know if anybody ever noticed it. I didn't notice it until I reread it again to check the numbers on it, and I was like, crap, it says Asian.
Oops.
Oops. That might have been the best moment from the game, but Aiden Hutchinson really was him and both of those guys were non-factors. Both of those big-time defensive ends were non-factors in this game. The running backs, the running game for Michigan was a non-factor. I mean, JJ McCarthy had some nice plays, but I mean, he put together one drive against the backup defense where people kept getting ejected for targeting, and outside of that drive, I mean, Michigan did absolutely nothing on either in any of the phases of the game.
Yeah, it was kind of like watching. I know if anyone ain't gonna want to hear this, but watching the Kentucky game, where it was like, oh, they got a little life, and you just suck it away from them.
Oh yeah.
Just for us to come out and they got us on a drive or two, and just come out and just say, nah, we ain't playing this anymore, and just stop in the way we did. I mean, if you go back to the Kentucky game too, I was sitting there like, oh crap, boy, Kentucky's about to put some points up, and Georgia's like, nah, cuz we got it.
Nope.
And
Darren Kendrick,
scream,
the seatbelt. How about that for a nickname?
that screenplay where we had 3 blockers out there, and I forget who it was for Georgia, and he knifed through
Nakobe
all
Dean.
3. Yes, it was perfect. That should have been points, but you can't play the shoulda, coulda, woulda game. He went and made a play. They didn't block him.
Y'all got him the first time.
Yeah. And then
all they had to do was get in his way too. That was the crazy part.
Just put an eyelash on him and get it creased, and it didn't
just throw a glove at him, and Rodriguez probably scores.
Yes. Oh man, all y'all gonna whiff. Everybody gonna whiff, man.
There's 5 people out there to get him. Not a soul touched him.
And y'all's
he hit it for no game.
Was too big.
Y'all's boy Bowers,
just down his leg.
I've been singing his praises all year long too, man. Because heck, ever since we've been on this podcast, I've been praising Bowers, and he did his thing again. Done it all season.
The John Mackey Award winner it was a great honor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hold on. Wait.
Yeah. No.
He wasn't even a finalist.
No. How does that happen?
John Mackey got to be turned over his grave because
he is pissed right now.
John Mackey was a stud. Mackey was a stud, and for Bowers, who else represents the position better than what Bowers did?
Didn't he go over 1,000 and have 12 touchdowns? I know he had 12 touchdowns. I don't know about the
I think he's close. I think he'll hit it after this. But just the tight end play. I think one thing we got to do this game is get more tight ends involved. I know Fitzpatrick dropped 2 passes on that one drive, and I'm like, dang, Fitz, come on, baby.
Yeah.
And then Washington looks like a man amongst boys out there. I knew he was big, but just watching him on TV when they zoom in, I'm like, this young man is huge.
Yeah.
Like, where do they grow them at? Because I need my son to, whatever he's been eating since he was little, I need my son to do it right now.
And you know what?
Chicken fingers and French fries ain't cutting it.
No, the little dino nuggets and the fries, no. Not
man, that ain't gonna get it.
Well, we are presented by Bet Online. Bet Online has you covered this holiday season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before as football continues to march through college bowls season and pro football playoffs. Bet Online remains your number one spot for all sports actions. So head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BELIEVE to receive your bonus. It's the fastest and easiest way to bet all your favorite sports. So don't wait to take advantage of all the new amazing offers available. Bet Online, it's where the game starts. Yeah, I don't know. We were watching the game and we were watching the coin toss, and my wife looks over and goes, Is that for real? Like it's like y'all's team is so much bigger than they are. And it was like Jordan Davis, Jamari Sawyer, and then little Stetson.
Yeah. He picked Stetson. I think Stetson had gotten hit on Burton's touchdown, and he picked Stetson up with one hand, one finger, and was like, hey, come on, little buddy. Come on, with one hook. Just come on, buddy.
Just grabbed him by the horse collar, just pulled him up, almost threw him over his shoulder.
Come on, Jesus. It's crazy.
Man. And Jamari and Hutchinson had some beef. Went back to the Army game. They got into it during one-on-ones during practice.
Oh yeah, I saw that going way back then. He punked him. He really did.
Mm-hmm. I
He
mean,
he physically made him quit.
yeah, what wasn't even like Georgia was the freaking bully, man. Everybody. I mean, George Pickens probably caught one ball the whole night, but
He
just
pushed him down
just
like a kid
owned
in the
those guys.
playground.
Like it almost seemed like he didn't even care. He just okay, I'm gonna go shove you. I'm gonna like that's gonna make my night.
And then
Like
told the sideline to be quiet. I think Buddy from Michigan was really upset about it, but then he remembered what Pickens did to Buddy at Georgia Tech, and he was like, "Nah, I don't want to do that
I don't want to get my head rammed into the wall.
because Pickens has nothing to lose at this point. He's like, I'm back, so it is what it is at this point.
Jeez,
What are they going to do? Suspend me for 2 quarters?
I'll come back in the second half and catch passes from the mailman. But um, yeah, this game honestly, we said it. If Georgia plays Stetson and plays Stetson with a Stetson Bennett game plan, that this game should be handled pretty easily. Israel, want to take a shot at what they did?
They did what we said they should do, and look what happened. It's amazing how
Oh
that works,
my
ain't it?
God! They played a Stetson Bennett game plan for Stetson Bennett. They got tricky with formations, had a gadget play, and they did this thing called RPOs.
Hmm.
And they moved the pocket and they took shots down the field.
Oh, I
Hmm.
thought he couldn't throw the ball downfield. Vinny, you remember seeing them tweets about him not being able to throw the ball down the field? He did a really good 3 times, as a matter of fact. 3 good ones. 4, if you count the one when we count the one to Bowers too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure it is. Yup. So
Like I can't believe that. You look at what happened. Like obviously he wasn't comfortable in the Bama game because like the crap that they had to do was not him, right? He was so much more comfortable, had so much more poise, so much more moxie about him in the pocket and on the move and in the huddle and just in general. Like even when Kirby was
Ooh,
like as red as
ripping in.
as red as his visor and ripping him a new one coming into halftime.
He's like, Coach, what the F you want me to do? Cause it was like he was like, I don't. What do you want me to do? You know what I mean? It was like
Yeah.
it wasn't like Kirby was like, man. He was like, just I know he said like better clock, which I feel like we could have got a field goal out of that steal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but for some reason, I feel like the plays weren't coming down. And Corey, you know this as well as I do. When the
Yeah.
plays are miscommunicated, it's really hard to play fast, especially during that time. And plays
Mm-hmm.
aren't getting in.
Yeah.
Um, so I
At
mean, I
at
can see
some
why Kirby's upset,
at
but
some point
I think
you're the
people
head
don't
coach. You can call
understand.
the timeout. Like you can do
Yeah.
this. You had one of those. Like that's all it takes. Timeout.
Hey, is that white out on your thumb?
No,
Or you just been giving thumbs up all day?
yeah, yeah. I gave thumbs up so much today that the tip of my thumb just got worn off.
You've been Phil Mickelson people.
Yeah. Hey. No, I just thought like when I was chopping stuff, like almost 2 weeks ago, that I thought the tip of my thumb would be a good accent piece.
I feel
So
you.
I tried
I
to.
was skinning I was skinning birds yesterday and I about cut my finger off too.
mhm.
Israel's like, hey guys,
Yeah, I'd been like, hey,
rock on, Israel.
is he waving or what is he doing?
Is he rocking out over there? I don't think he's listening to us. Um, so yeah, I mean to wrap up the bowl season in large, the SEC had a clunker of a start. Whatever, they finished strong.
Shout out to the East,
Whatever, yeah. Shout out to the
Yes,
East,
absolutely.
holding up
except for
our end, right?
Tennessee.
And Missouri.
And Florida.
I don't even count. I don't count those. I don't count those. If they didn't win 8 games, 7, 8 games or more, I don't count them.
True. Good point.
Yeah, they were playing
Don't
the
count.
appetizer bowls anyway. Nobody's even
Yeah.
paying
Though,
attention.
yeah, those are those sympathy bows that you're. I think that I remember when I was playing there. None of these bows were even thought about. If you didn't win, what was it, 7? I think it was 7 games or
Yeah.
something. 8, 7 games. You didn't go to a bowl game, which I think is fair. But
Yeah.
now, participation trophies are, well, they're all about that these days.
I don't
So
think in 5 years people are going to remember that Florida lost the Gasparilla Bowl.
I don't even know what that is.
Not in not in Gainesville. UCF is gonna wear it like a badge of honor forever. They will never
they
let it
should.
be forgotten.
Oh yeah,
So,
they
As
will.
they
They
should.
will. They
Yeah.
probably declared themselves national champs. So this game is canceled on Monday. UCF is the national champs. They won the Gasparilla Bowl. They beat Florida. So crown them. Orlando has a parade already set up for the Gasparilla Bowl championship team. They're going to be honored, and they're going to be in UCF lore forever.
Yeah,
Oh
the
yeah.
grandpa from Up.
Yeah.
I mean, Gus Malzahn got a bowl win for like the third time in his career. So that's pretty. That's I didn't realize that he had lost so many bowl games until
Yeah,
they put that stat on TV.
he could get him there. He couldn't win it though. He couldn't beat Barry Alvarez like in his return trip to the sideline. Like Barry Alvarez came out of retirement from he came from the AD office, stepped in. Yeah,
And
Sure
won.
did.
Tampa Pirate Festival. Yeah, Steve was talking about this on SEC After Dark. So UCF, yeah, I mean that's true. UF almost beat Bama. UCF beat UF. So we are national champs. Hang the banner.
That's right.
Hang it.
They're national champs again, baby.
Joining us a new name on this chat. SEC historian just followed me on Twitter.
Me too.
SEC historian. You should follow Israel. I guess you just followed Vinny, so that's good. So you should follow Troopstar 28 as well while you're at it, and check us out. SEC historian on Believe in Georgia Dogs and Believe in Kentucky as well, and then SEC After Dark for sure. And then at the Stephen Willis, which you probably already, if you're on this, you've probably already followed Stephen Willis, so that don't count. But
the brains behind this operation here.
Yeah. So sweet. So rematch. I don't even know which year to reference here on the rematch, but it is a rematch. It is a rebirth of 2017. Tyler Simmons was onside.
Yes, he was.
He was onside. Hopefully we can attain for second 26 this time around. Mixed emotions about this game. I think, depending on what Bama fan you talk to, some of them are genuinely nervous and some of them are like giddy that they're playing Georgia and they know they own us, in their words, not mine. And so there's a lot of sentiment of Georgia fans as well that are like, man, we're playing Bama. I don't know. And there's a lot of Georgia fans who are like, yeah, hell yeah, rematch. Let's go. Let's get them. Jameson Williams, yeah, I'm sure he'll play. I don't know how serious it is.
He came back in the game the other night, so he's definitely playing.
He's going to play. Jameson Williams is going to play. Jameson Williams has one leg. He could probably still catch 6 balls for 150 on one leg.
Tua completely destroyed his knee and came back like the second game. Mm-hmm. He's only out for like a game. So, I mean, they got some pretty good doctors over there.
They do. They got Mr. Miyagi.
No, we got Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, we definitely
got it. They have his son over there.
Oh, they do. Yeah.
Or brother.
No. They have that no, they have Hilary Swank's character from that one movie.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Didn't think I was going to throw that one out there, did you?
You did. I can't wait from left field. I like it though. I love it.
That's what I do. Left field movie references, right? So, Cobra Kai season 4 is out. Give a little Netflix plug. Netflix, if you want to be a partner of this show, if you want to put us on Netflix, that'd be great. But Cobra Kai is in there, season 4. If you want to check it out, the first 3 seasons are phenomenal. I plan on checking it out. I don't know about you guys, but so the rematch. So we kind of alluded to this before with the rematch, as far as how do you play Bama the second time around. You have to do some things slightly different. The first, obviously, being not scared of their defense and playing Stetson like he's Stetson, and not super conservative. Like, you got nothing to lose at this point. Like, you're 0-4 against them. Just throw the kitchen sink at them. Put Stetson on the move. Make Stetson a factor in the run game. RPOs, things like that. Create conflict for those linebackers and safeties. Get them off their spot, and that's how Georgia wins. That's how Georgia's offense produces 40 points per game. They get those linebackers and they get the cylinder of the defense out of their spot. and then they attack that area of the field.
Mhm. So, Vinny, I got a question for you. From watching us play Kentucky and then watching the first matchup of Georgia and Alabama, what do you think Nick Saban and that staff is going to do differently in this game, especially considering how they struggled against Cincinnati in some aspects of that game?
Mm. Uh, I, I still think they try to make just dare Stetson to beat y'all. Because until he proves that he can, why would they change anything? Uh, he was y'all talked about he was uncomfortable just a couple weeks ago. Uncomfortable last year when it was I forget where y'all played at within the regular season. So until he gets in a rhythm and starts picking y'all apart and forces them to do something else, you know I don't see why they would. We're gonna make him force us to do something different. Until then, that's what I'm kind of thinking as far as that goes. Maybe he does. It's hard to beat typically it's hard to beat a team over and over and over again. At some point, y'all break through. I thought last time was it, and I was wrong. And I went against Bama, picked Georgia, and but is he gonna get rattled again, or is he gonna be locked in and standing there, and if they get pressure on him, he's still gonna be able to make quick decisions and get rid of the ball and make the hot reads and be accurate and all that kind of stuff. That's kind of what, if I'm saving, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Until this dude forces me and puts me in a bind, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing.
Those first two series were outstanding. I mean, Stetson,
Yes.
they got away from it because I think they tried to
Yeah.
press a little bit more, and Stetson started trying to press a little bit more, and that's kind of where the game slipped away. I mean, it was 17 all right there, and Bryce didn't, or Stetson didn't touch the ball again until they were up 31-17. So, I mean, you had
Hmm.
you had two straight possessions of Bama where they had a 14-point swing, and that's not good for anybody. Then what Stetson has to really fight too is being able not having that feeling of, okay, I need to go score 14 points on this one play, meaning I'm going to take unnecessary risk and do some stupid things like he almost did in the Michigan game on a couple of occasions. Like Stetson he's got to limit that stuff. Like you can't do that. That's crippling. Like those two interceptions were completely on Stetson against
Hmm.
Alabama, especially the pick six was just
Late ball.
awful. Late ball, floated it. I mean, it was everything about it was awful, and they made him pay for it. And so for Stetson, he has to take care of the football, remember who he is, and
Hmm.
remember like what they were the first couple of series when they went up 10-0. Where they used 13 personnel with George Pickens. I mean, and the run game, and they just rammed the ball right down the field. Those two drives, got a touchdown and a field goal out of it, and let's go. And then the one where they tied it back up at 17 apiece, they roared right down the field with Brock Bowers in the run game, and they went on a big drought where they kind of forgot who they were and what they were,
Hmm.
and they pressed a little bit, and they were like, okay, no, we just need to try to sling the ball downfield, and it resulted in sacks, picks, and missed throws. And
I
then
think I think Georgia is going to expect Alabama to make a whole bunch of changes based on what y'all are saying, and
they're
I
going to
don't
make a
think
ton of
I don't
changes.
think Saban's going to overthink it. I don't think he's going to
No,
go in there overthinking it and doing a bunch of
he's
adjusting and all that.
he's still going to say, Stetson, it's cute that you hit a couple of deep shots against
Yes,
Michigan. Do that against us.
yes,
That's
Yeah.
what he's
And
going to
until
say.
you do it, this is what we're going to do. But like you said earlier, I mean, the last two times Stetson's played them, we've been winning. We've been up in those games, so it's not like he's scared of them.
No,
I think
he's
at some
not.
point in that game, there's a turning point to where Alabama goes up, and like you said, we press. He presses. He thinks he has to make these throws or these miraculous plays. When you just be on schedule, that's all I kept saying. Stay on schedule. Stay on schedule. If he
I
stays on
mean,
schedule, he's good. He's
down
winning.
14, Is there, and they got back on schedule, but it was already pushed. The league was
It's
already
already
pushed
out
to
of hand.
21, so it was already, it was already terrible. So I think what made those deep shots happen against Michigan were all the quick screens that they were throwing and having success on. Like they kept pressing the quick screens in different ways, and kept bringing those guys up. They double move it and then let's roll.
That
It,
and the fact that they stayed on schedule.
mm-hmm,
He would throw on first down. They wouldn't run the ball on first down. He'd throw on second down where you're expecting to run. They always kept the defense guessing so they couldn't be right. When we played Alabama the last couple of times when we've gotten down, they were able to guess what we're going to do. We're going to run the ball on first down. You're going to change personnel. Then you're going to try to run a RP on second down. Then third down, now it's 3rd and 10. And we all know what's going to happen on 3rd and 10. Will Anderson's coming. They're going to bring a safety blitz. Somebody's coming. So now they got you. Now you're predictable. And one thing against Alabama, and that's what Cincinnati ran into, they became predictable.
mm-hmm.
They kept Cincinnati in 3rd and long, 2nd and long. What are you going to do? Try to throw the ball downfield or try to throw it quick. They didn't. Cincinnati probably threw the ball on first down maybe 3 times, if I'm not mistaken, the whole entire game. They always ran the ball on first down.
Or Stetson's going to panic check into a play and there's going to
get hit in the face.
Yeah.
Because they ain't going to miss no tackles.
They're not. They are not. So defensively, I think there's got to be some massive changes on Georgia's side, Israel, right?
Yeah, we got to play man, which, I was going to say this. I think it was toward the end of the game. They ran a little mesh concept, and Keelan Ringo was about 5 yards behind the receiver, but we ended up getting sacked. Well, that just shows you that we can get to the quarterback, and Bryce Young can't make a throw.
Mm-hmm.
But it also shows that if we give up inside leverage, that man is going to run from here to Tennessee, from Albany, Georgia to Tennessee, if we do that, if Bryce Young can give him the football. So to me, I love the way that we played man. I think we can't put Kendrick on Jameson. We can't do that. Do not put Kendrick over there. Put Ringo on him. He's a bigger kid. Take away inside leverage, and we'll be fine. I mean, of course, you got everybody else too, but I mean,
Corey
it's
Brooks,
the point of
Billingsley.
You got to get hands on the receivers. They can't get off the line clean, and I think if we do that, I hadn't seen Alabama's receivers just beat anybody that's pressed them straight up off the line. There's always been some kind of cushion, get in their face, piss them off, and get to the quarterback, which I think the way that Nolan and all them guys were playing, I think they're going to want to destroy Bryce Young, in my opinion.
Knock him down. I
think they're upset.
Upset is an understatement. I think Nakobe Dean's going to play like a man possessed. Hopefully that's enough. But you can't. 2 things you can't give up against Bama: the deep shot and the slant.
Yes.
Vinny, they will make you pay.
Absolutely.
They hit a slant. That was the thing that got the momentum ball rolling in their favor in the first time around in the SEC championship a few weeks ago. They hit that slant route.
Yeah.
And Georgia was shook.
Got them reeling. Yeah. Because nobody done that to them all year. And, they rightfully thought they were kind of invincible. And, we get pissed off when people get first downs on us. And, oh, my God, whoa, they just hit that on us.
Yeah.
And then they were just kind of, like I said, when Buster Douglas knocked Tyson out, hey, this ain't never happened to me before. What's going on? I'm on the ground looking for my mouthpiece. This dude done knock me. That's what happened to Georgia. And they never could kind of get their legs back.
No, they couldn't. Now to go beast of the NFL, we got a comment. Baker Mayfield is a sober Johnny Football in Cleveland. You want to talk about a fit that's gone south in a hurry. That's such a funny reference. I love that. That might be post of the year.
That's funny.
I'm gonna tweet that and be early contention for tweet of the year for 2022. How about that?
There you go. That was hard to beat. That's a good one.
That is a very good one. I love that. I love that. Yes. But speaking of quarterbacks who can't throw, but yeah, I mean, hit Bryce, knock him down. Nakobe Dean, the play of the frickin' century was him running from the numbers to the other numbers and dropping a screen for a loss.
Yes, that was beautiful.
He was a good 5 yards behind that guy the whole time, and then the dude catches it and he just closes in on him and just. I mean, it was a well thrown ball. I mean, he had him leveraged. I mean, it was a great call, great situation. You have a running back running away from a linebacker, and all of a sudden you catch the ball and he's right in your face. And you haven't got back to the line of scrimmage yet.
Yeah,
That's demoralizing.
That was absolutely
That's
that was great.
demoralizing.
That's when I knew I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be a long night for Michigan. When he ran, they got down, and he got it they were in man coverage.
Mhm.
So he went in motion. He went with. They bumped over. He went with it. He saw it. And I mean, that's Georgia football. That's what we've been doing all year. That's what we got to do against Alabama. Because I mean, they got great receivers, yeah, but we got enough people that can cover.
That was the moment where I'm like, yeah, Michigan ain't got it. It ain't happening for them tonight.
Even if you put another DB on the field and he just play man, wherever, give him an assignment. Wherever he goes, if he goes to the bathroom, you're after him what kind of tissue you want, like Charmin or Angel Soft. Like you stay with him the whole time.
I'm just picturing that. Because I hear, pass me the Angel Soft. Here you go.
Exactly.
And then
my coach told me to stay with you all night. I'm sorry, bro. I can't help it.
Yeah. You want a hot dog?
Literally.
Going to the concession
stand.
stand.
We're gonna have to do what we did against Michigan, mix some man and some zone. But I think we can't get too complex with our zone. Last game, people out of place. They tried to play some combo coverages, and people were like, "What the hell are we doing? Where are we?" You know. But I think you just got to be smart. I mean, a simple cover 2, cover 4, cover 3, things like that. Just so people know exactly where to be.
Yeah, I mean, just pattern match it, read number 2, and let's roll.
That's it. Don't give up inside leverage. You can't do it. If you do, it's going to be a long night. We're going to be on this podcast pissed again.
Yep. Going, what in the hell? If we give up another slant, I swear, I'll throw something.
Yeah.
I promise you. Promise you, I'm going to throw something. So, but yeah, I mean, I think, when you look at the special teams battle, I think, you have 2 great kickers that can make a difference. Reitker and Podluzny, Hot Pod, as Scott Howard calls him.
Hot Pod. That's the most dangerous part of Alabama right now. They actually have a field goal kicker.
He can hit him. He can definitely hit him.
Me.
But he missed one, and I'm like, he's due for a miss right here. I'm like, he's gonna miss this. Watch this. And he kicked it. This is against Cincinnati. They had a chance to go up 20-3. He kicked it and missed it.
Yes.
I was like, yes.
He's thinking about it. They were in his head.
What did you guys
He's
think?
guaranteed 2 misses on Monday.
We're gonna block one. That's my call.
Wow.
Yeah, they'll call us offside.
They probably will. Well, they're calling for like
center.
Yeah, saying we jumped over him.
He failed.
Leaping.
We'll get one of those penalties from that's like deep in the rule book that no one's committed in 7 years.
Yeah, it's going to everybody get a what the F. What the what?
Well, that's a rule?
Yeah. Like the targeting penalty that Chambliss got.
Yeah.
What is that? He put his helmet on the ball.
Dead ball, personal foul, form tackle, number 32 on the defense. He's ejected and sentenced to life in prison. 15 yards remains first down.
I mean, yeah, what are we doing? What are we playing patty cake? What is this? He put his helmet on the ball. Maybe he shouldn't have went down like this. I don't know, but just keep his eyes up. He hit the ball.
He put his face on the ball. I mean, it's textbook.
If anything, he gonna have a headache from hitting the ball.
What kind of crew is it? Is it gonna be a Big 10, Big 12 crew?
That's what I was gonna say.
Monday.
Bet online. We need a thing that says how big are the lead refs' biceps. That is going to be a bet. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, it's got to be. Bet online if you're listening. Go ahead.
Yeah,
do it.
It was a little mini Ed Hockey League there the other night.
Holding.
He had his glasses on and his
Yeah.
hat was like this with his little Oakley glasses.
Yeah. And then he's wearing a Schmedium t-shirt.
Yeah.
I was like, what are we doing?
Like old Ed Hockley back in the day for them NFL games. Yeah.
Even my mom was
Yes.
like, even my mom was like, that referee is jacked for no reason.
Yep. He got fit just for this game because he knew he was going to be on TV.
He's doing those push-ups, so he's like, he loved calling offsides because he could flex.
Offside.
But his wife didn't pack his contacts, so he had to wear his glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Mm-hmm. Yo.
Dang it, Amy. You let me down,
He looks like a guy whose wife is named Amy.
doesn't he?
She's a second grade teacher.
They think we're blind as it is, and now I have to wear glasses. Oh.
Yes.
I have to wear these goofy looking thicklets. Yeah, we're screwed.
And my hat sitting on my head.
Gonna look as awkwardly as possible. Did you guys watch the different coverages, like the ESPN family of coverages, where they had the all 22? I recorded the all 22, the all 22, the Skycam. They had on SEC Network the home radio feed playing.
Yeah, I try to watch those, and I get like, I feel like I have ADD like real bad because I'll get to watching one, and then like the camera will move, and I'm like, wait a minute, and it feels like you're watching like a different game because you're used to seeing like one particular camera,
Yeah,
and then you switch over to something else, you're like, what the hell? Like, what is this?
yeah, that's why I recorded it. And I tried listening to the. I tried all the things with the Alabama game because I knew I was like, well, if I miss whatever, if I get distracted, it's not a big deal.
Mhm.
So I tried it with the Alabama game, and I was listening to the Eli Gold call with it just didn't match up.
Yeah,
Touchdown, Alabama.
Touchdown, Alabama!
that sounds terrible.
Touchdown, Alabama!
I'll tell you
Bryce Young threw it to
how much I
Jameson
had
Williams.
invested in this game. The Alabama section, I was dove shooting during the Alabama Cincinnati game. That's how much I really wanted to watch.
I
that
mean,
game.
I
Not even
took
gonna lie.
I took Huck to the creek, and so I just stuck the thing in my. I just stuck the phone. I have Direct TV stream, so I can like watch it anywhere.
Yeah.
So I stuck the phone in my pocket, had my AirPod in, and was listening to the radio calls. Like, well, the radio call is going to be at least descriptive,
Hmm.
and it really wasn't. I mean, Eli Gold's obviously a great broadcaster. He wouldn't be doing it for 20 plus years if he wasn't. But
Yeah.
it
I
just
was shooting birds. I listened to it. You know, I got YouTube TV. Shout out to YouTube TV for fixing that situation because your boy was about to dip, but y'all got it fixed. You know, shout out to YouTube and all things like that. But I just listened to it as I was shooting birds. I was like, Alabama's gonna win,
did you shoot
but it
your
was a lot
neighbor a
of closer than
bird?
I thought. I did not. I didn't. You know, she's been eerily nice to us lately.
Oh boy, yeah, you're screwed.
I don't know what's going on with that.
Yep.
I make sure I bring my dog in at nighttime, you know, just in case, you know, some random plates or anything get thrown over the fence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
He starts acting weird. I know what's up.
yes, for sure.
I'll probably play around this game though. I'll watch a little bit of Alabama's broadcast. I watch a little bit of y'all's broadcast, and I didn't this past weekend, but I'll kind of bounce around for the championship game. Get a little bit of both home broadcasts.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to kind of see where that goes. But I almost wanted to record the Scott Howard thing and listen to that but it's up on YouTube somewhere, so I think somebody on the dog net put it up there. So, but guys, picks for the national championship game. We're going to get official with this whole thing, or we can get our rough draft out there and we can change them via social media. Israel, you and I think I know where we're about to go here, but Vinny, what how do you see this thing shaking out?
Well, like I said, I thought y'all had them in the SEC championship game. Win against the Bama machine. and I was like, "This Georgia's got them. They're there for the taking. Dog's fixing to get them." And I was mistaken. So maybe I'll be mistaken again this time. And y'all will definitely be hoping I'm wrong. When I'm gonna say Alabama 30, Georgia 27. It's gonna come down to a field goal game. And so maybe with my history of picking, maybe this will be just what y'all need. Me picking Bama guarantees Georgia gets a win.
There you go.
Man, we're on the same page. I was thinking Georgia 30, Bama 27.
Mm.
That's exactly what my score was going to be. I was teetering between 30 to 26. I was like,
Yeah.
27 sounds a little bit more because he will at least make the extra point this year.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's gonna miss about two. He's gonna miss two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yo.
He would definitely miss two.
Mark my words, he's gonna miss two, and that's really what's going. He's gonna miss two early, and that's what's going to be the difference in the ball game.
Could very well be.
Well, alrighty then. On that note, I'm going to pick Georgia as well. I'm going to go a little bit higher scoring. I'm going to say 38-35. 38-35.
I could very well see that.
So that's what I'm going to say.
It's
How's
going to
that
be a
sound?
good one.
Yeah.
I think Cincinnati, if they did a little bit better job of controlling, not just stopping Will Anderson. Nobody's really going to stop him, but just controlling him a little bit.
Mhm.
I think they'd have a little bit more success. But it's all going to come down to, can we not outcoach ourselves, and can we stay on schedule? We stay on schedule, I think we win the ball game. That, like Vinny said earlier, we're the better team.
Mhm.
I think Steve said it earlier too. We're definitely the better overall team. I think we just got to get that monkey off our back and just say,
Mhm.
all right, hell, here we go. I'm throwing all the bullets I got into this ball game. It's the last game of the season
We got to
against a team that
play
embarrassed you earlier.
exactly, man. We got. I mean, it's all that matters. We got to play like we know we're the best team on the field. We don't
Against them.
against them. We play like that
Yes.
against everybody else. But we see that A come out there, and they're like, "Well, oh God, I can't. Oh no, oh."
It's like the Little
Oh.
Giants versus the Cowboys. I know
Mhm.
everybody's seen the movie Little Giants.
If you
I
haven't,
think it's
then
time. It's time.
it's time.
That's how Kentucky does against Tennessee 9 times out of 10. They, still
Oh
can't get
God,
over that hump.
oh.
Yep. Oh, there's that orange pants. Oh God.
Oh God, the orange pants. Oh no. I am married to the ice box.
Love it.
Just throwing gems. I'm married to the icebox. I love it. So on that
That one
note,
came from right field.
that one
I
came.
like it.
That was
like
definitely
it.
a beamer from right field. So we're going to we're gonna leave you right there. Quick programming note for next week. Obviously, this show will not be taking place as I will be watching the national championship. So will Israel, and I'm sure so will Vinny. So we're not going to be here giving you a live show because guess what? You're probably not going to watch us. You're probably going to watch some random football game that they're going to have on called the national championship. So we will not be with you as a group next week. But we will join you probably as soon as possible the next week. We might I'll think about this, but we might delay it a day and talk about it almost immediately after. So we'll figure that out, and then we'll get back at you. We'll tweet it out there as soon as we figure it out. But as of right now, we will not be here on our normal scheduled time of Monday night. So we're going to be enjoying the national championship game, and hopefully you will too. But that's going to do it for us here on the Beast of the East podcast, on the Believe Podcast Network, and coming to you on the video side of it from y'all's conference network. Thank you to all of you that joined and listened. Thank you for the chat. Our Russian bots, cheers, have some vodka. And to all our participants, we appreciate it. If you found us, however you found us, we thank you for that. Follow us, subscribe, comment, whatever you got to do. Jump aboard this fast-moving train called the Y'all's Conference Network. It's going to be a great, great thing. So we thank you. We are the Beast of the East podcast presented by betonline.ag. For Vinny and Israel, I'm Corey Burton. We thank you. Have a great night. Have a great week and an even better weekend. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2022. We're out.
Yo.
Rock on. Am I saying rock on, or am I just